The link between you and your salvation, is it lost or is it found? Do you live your life with faith or do you live it without faith? This is the question brought forth by him, the third Joker's card of the mighty second deck. His name is a reflection of the answer itself. He is simply known as
the marvelous missing link. 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 The marvelous missing link.
What comes around goes around. The marvelous missing link has been found. Your life's full circle is now completed. Whatever you dished out, then you eat it. Now, let's hope you like it. The way you treated your mom wasn't right, kid. And now that you overdosed on dope and died, the link is tied. You reap everything you sow. Let it sink in. Now that you choked up, dead and stinking, it's time for judgment. The missing link is now tied in. Off to hell you go riding, or Shangri-La for the lucky few who live life tried and true. The link in the chain is for you to gain all that you got coming to ya. Bang!
The marvelous missing link. The marvelous missing link.
Now I hear that people wish for me to explain what epiphany I had of the stigmata. This occurred in a flash of enlightenment while I was on the spiritual crossroads. As I gazed upon the holes in the spirit of Jesus' wrists, I had like a sharp blur of a vision as I suddenly understood what his sacrifice upon the cross meant. His sacrifice had to do with the path to forgiveness at that time. In those times mankind would offer forth sacrifice upon an altar. A portion of it would be set aside for Azazel, and this allotment of the sacrifice would cleanse an individual's sins. But when Jesus was crucified, his blood upon the altar of the world, and the keys of life and death were given to him by Uriel and Lucifer, Jesus became the angel of death, the grim reaper, and thus replacing Azazel, and the process of him being attributed to being that which to whom all sin was attributed to. For what is the purpose of the grim reaper? He takes us to where we belong after death. Only through the grim reaper are we taken to our final resting place. He sorts the evil from the righteous and takes them to their proper place accordingly. What were Jesus' words when pertaining to the afterlife? Only those who believe in me can they enter the kingdom of my Father. Only through the believing in the sacrifice that Jesus gave of himself upon the cross can our sins be forgiven. Thus replacing the old world sacrificial ritual and method of offerings to Azazel, and replaced by the one sacrifice for all the world that having faith and belief in can cleanse the sins of man, and salvation from one's sins and forgiveness and mercy from his Father's wrath can be attained by their faith in Jesus and their belief in this sacrifice that was given to free the world of men from having to offer their sins to Azazel by ritual sacrifice. For through Jesus we all are taken to the place where we belong. That was made clear in the 3 days before his resurrection, and the event that people witnessed of Jesus rising from out of hell with a group of people who did not belong there, and they were taken to heaven as Jesus ascended with them. So by the commands of his Father, set down long ago before the prophecy of the Messiah was conceived through the exile of the rebel angels when Uriel and Lucifer were given the keys of life, death, and hell, was the plans of Jesus' sacrifice upon the cross and his appointment to the position as the angel of death, and replacing Azazel as the one whom all sins were attributed to for forgiveness. All this was planned for and laid out long before the promise to Abraham was made or even walked the earth, as these plans were set in place in the time of Noah's flood story and made note of in the chapters of Enoch. That was my epiphany of the stigmata, or realization, that hit me all in the span of a second, or in the blink of the eye. After this is when Jesus spoke with the thunderous voice, just as his Father did later when I met him, and he said, "You are not dead, you must return." Back up into the skies I flew, as I came to a tiny hole where I could see my friend looking through. Then up above my body, and I smeared back into it as I shot up from the floor, gasping for breath.
To Nyarlathotep must all things be told, for he is the messenger between the spheres, and the traveler between the realms of the living and the dead. He shall summon forth the ancient ones, and wake them from their deathless slumber. Then shall the elder signs be shattered, and the lords of darkness be released. From across the black seas of infinity, and beyond the mists of time, Yog-Sothoth watches and waits. For he is the guardian of the gateway between worlds, and he alone holds the key to unlock the gate. For when the ancient rites have been spoken, and the lords of darkness have been awakened and summoned forth, then shall the gateway between the stars open once more. Past, present, future, all are one in Yog-Sothoth.